to be coming next on Scene, everybody. I am so excited to be back here with the amazing Henry Weinreich. Today, we are talking about top 6 writing challenges and how to overcome them. Hi, Henry. How are you today? Welcome back to the podcast.
Jackie, the energy is already like blasting through this podcast. I'm super excited to talk to you about the top tips on how to actually overcome writing challenges.
Let's get to our first question. So our top writing tip first. So how to avoid online distractions when writing. So what is your feedback around that?
You know, that's interesting because when I was preparing for this interview, I thought about that on a broad scale. So regardless actually of what you do professionally or personally, there are going to be projects in your life that are just standalone and require a certain level of discipline. So the beautiful thing about writing and what I can convey to all those listening and joining your gorgeous podcast is that actually how to avoid online distractions when writing is actually how do you avoid online distractions, period. Do you know what I'm saying, Jackie? I mean, that's your business to be online.
Right.
But sometimes you have projects where you have to be offline. So I think the first and foremost, regardless of the project you're undertaking, you need to actually create what I call a writer's cave or my writer's bunker. So that can be for a long period of time, it can be for a short period of time, whatever your project is. Once you've come to terms with that fact, love it or not, you actually have to detoxify from social media. And I know yourself, that must be something that, you know yourself, when you're switched on all the time, there are times where you have to switch yourself off. Am I right?
Yes, completely. And it's so hard. Like I live day in and day out as my business, right? So like, yes, very difficult.
Absolutely. So we're all addicted to social media. We're all addicted to our phones. So you have to come to terms with that. Once you actually come to terms with that, you take the plug literally and you plug it out. Literally. You have to get off all your social media platforms, and that includes not following other people at the same time. So you can't cheat. It's you're not posting and they're not posting. Now, the thing I'd like to pose to you and all our audience is the fact that that can have some withdrawal effects. Okay.
For sure.
So what does that mean? There's going to be fear and anxiety. And I'm sure with your clients as well, when they're switched on to social media, they're constantly checking. The bottom line is, honestly, your supporters are always going to support you. And another adage is, which I remind myself is, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Grow fonder, yep.
Right? But I'll tell you one key thing, one really important thing that, I don't know, I just knew intuitively. Do not, under any circumstances, make an announcement that you are going off air, because I'm telling you, the text.
I agree.
You cannot.
I hate when people do that. It's like
it's terrible because, like, how are people supposed to respond, right, to that? So are they supposed to text you saying, I know you're off air, or are they not supposed to text you or message you? And then you can never actually put out the fire. I mean, have you seen that yourself when people post that up? And what's your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's an attention-seeking thing. I feel like when people do that, they're like, I want to feel wanted and seen. Like, please give me attention. It's absolutely accurate. Absolutely accurate.
I'm really glad that you've confirmed that, because, you know, you work intuitively when you're a writer, but we all have that. But that, as your expertise confirms, that's a big check mark. So, yes, so that's the way you do it. You've got to actually create that cave. That cave has to be your own safe space. Actually, in my writer's bunker, believe it or not, I had 5 different spaces in my apartment that I actually created as my writing spaces. And then I just thought to myself, my dear friends are going to understand. Once I come back with the news, it's going to become bigger and better. So that hopefully answers the question about how to avoid online distractions, whether you're writing, whether you're doing a PhD, whether you're about to do a marketing project, whoever you are, it's really important to know when to turn off and to turn on.
So good. And like, how long for a period of time, like for you, did you do that for?
Well, I was very lucky because I self-financed my project because I knew I was going to do it with my father, stories I told my son. So in actual fact, I didn't work to a deadline, which is absolutely not recommended. But this has been a project of my life, to sit down with my father and ask him all the questions I never was able to ask him. And so on and off, 3.5 years, on and off.
For sure.
That's why
I
I'm
mean,
really dig, because I have done a lot of media in my life. And so the opportunity of speaking to you is just like, I'm back in my element.
I love it. So how can people follow you on social media, Henry, and get in touch?
Right. So I've just launched my new website, which is henryweinreich.org, which is a landing page and it's just like my business card. You can also go on to our Instagram account and DM me on the stories I told my son, and my very active Twitter, Henry Weinreich _. And finally, my LinkedIn, Henry Weinreich. It's really easy. Just hashtag Henry Weinreich. You're going to find me.
I love it. This has been a pleasure as always. Thank you for the inspiring information. You are the best. So everybody definitely follow Henry. And thanks for tuning in to Next on Scene, and stay tuned for who's next on Scene.